your 3-map prediction is going to ring true, Blue.
Yeah, we ended up on Consulate, Bank, and Cafe. Bank being the first one that we're going to be jumping into, right? Or excuse me, Consulate, Bank, and Coastline as our final map. They're not Cafe.
Got it.
So
You're
apologies for that. Either way, though, all 3 of those maps sit as some of the most played maps for both teams. And that's going to make this series really dangerous for both teams, considering there's a lot of experience coming into the picture on that one. And especially when you consider Gio's recent move as well. There's a lot of information I think that can be gleaned from him going into this matchup.
Exactly. And especially with Bank, this is one of those maps where when you say Bank, you think Evil Geniuses. It's one of their, bread and butter maps that we've seen in almost every single LAN they've ever participated in. And it rings true once again. We're going to be on Bank for the very first map, and Evil Geniuses is playing. So the most notable one for them would be all the way back at that G2 game, all the way back in SI18 on Bank. So it's been a very long-standing map for them. Habana and Jackal going to be off the board, and so far pretty rudimentary. Mira going to follow suit as well.
And we'll see what our final ban is here in just a second, as nothing out of the ordinary really coming out here from the ban phase. It's pretty much as we expect, with the one hard breach being removed just to make things a bit more difficult for the attackers. Maestro will be our final operator to be eliminated. You basically take your pick there between knocking out Maestro and Echo, and it seems this time Maestro draws the unlucky card.
So from what I got from the scrim report from TSM is that it's actually Gio on site quite often with Timsy inside of their setup. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work out with them, and it seems that it's relatively going to be the same. We're going to have Merc on Castle, and we don't see a Castle strat on Lockers too often. They might be trying to go for a roam game on the mid floor and hold down the archive area. We'll have to see what they dedicate that utility towards. But we are going to have Tim on the smoke, filling in those Poge rolls, and Gio on the Valk.
Moving into this first round here in just a second. As soon as Modiga decides what the 6th pick is going to be there, so he's going to end up finally locking in that Zofia. And we'll finally load into our first round here, folks, on Bank. The players are out, or at least the attackers' drones are out, and the defenders are out as well. Setting up now for their very first round of this matchup.
From all of the tapes that we've played throughout, and all of the hype B-roll and everything that we had from last year to play, it's crazy to see how many players have changed spots. We have Rogue completely disbanded now. Rangers working with Evil Geniuses as their coach. Gotcha. All of these different things. It's just so very weird to see.
And a lot of it's happened pretty recently too. Obviously, the crazy amount of shuffles we had prior to this event. I think a lot of the reason why people are spectating this event now, trying to see exactly what happened out of that roster mania, in addition to the conclusion of this 6 to 8 month marathon that a lot of teams have gone on in order to qualify for this LAN.
All right, well, first round loads in, folks. EG versus TSM is officially on. Let's get this going, shall we? Gotcha going to be rocking the Thermite, so it seems that Gotcha will be playing on those support roles for Evil Geniuses. Gonna have Mo over on his very notable Zofia, the op that really made this man to be good with. Everyone always knowing him for the Zofia play. It really seems like it might be one of the best in the world with this operator. Traditional drone take here for Evil Geniuses, clearing the top and mid floor, and it is going to be a mid hold actually, as Merc has the E1 wall broken open so he can rotate away from the teller's office area.
So a lot of drone work to be done here for EG. NVK specifically self-droning himself forward from the ATMs just to make sure there's no one hiding around here. So he'll be safe to move in and take this usually easy amount of control for his team.
And inside of sight, we have a Chief playing the server area and Timsy playing the red hallway, so where you would usually have a smoke. Rotations over as the E1 area is starting to get battled with. We have Bolo and Merc on that extended roam. Gio, they're going to be the first one to fall, and all of a sudden, all of their help has been cut off, so it's going to be just down to the 2 remaining on site as Gio got cut off on that rotation. Ooh, Bolo. Nice shot there, but he's going to take the brunt of that damage. Achieve rotates up blue, catches Netcroc slipping, and all of a sudden we're equal to 4-4.
Yeah, Bolo won't be able to find much with his push. In fact, he loses quite a bit of HP, but at least there's a trade found from his distraction a few seconds later. Spam coming in from NVK, but he's going to take a lot of heat from that and not much on the return. It's Modiga instead that finds the opener on Timsy, taking him down, and more importantly, eliminating the smoke, still with a minute and 16 seconds, remaining.
Merc working his way down main stairs as the diffuser goes down. Achieved onto a double now, but there's still plenty of presence inside of the site. Trying to equalize here, but no, it can't work out. It's down to Bolo with very minimal HP, and Evil Geniuses off of a burst of speed through the elevator hatch work their way onto site.
EG, definitely some trouble getting to the site itself, but once they finally got their footing, everything seemed to fall into place in a relatively straightforward fashion. So they take nice control of this opening round with a 1-0 lead here against TSM, who is not going to stick with that basement site. They will immediately rotate. Not to upstairs, though. They're going to head over to Tellers instead.
TSM trying to show a little leg on that mid floor, and it just didn't work out at the end of the day. Geo tries to go for the rotate to help out the two inside of Tellers as well as Archives. He gets immediately shot, and then Evil Geniuses has control of E1, which is that elevator hallway. You have E1, which is the first elevator hallway, and then E2, which is second floor elevator hallway, for those at home that are wondering what I'm talking about. But they get control of that hallway, break the hatch immediately, and all of a sudden there's just 3 people on site. And when you have one SMG-11 with very minimal bullets, it's not very fun when multiple people are peeking at you. All of a sudden they have control of sight, get a diffuser down, and it's Evil Geniuses first round.
So we'll see what TSM is going to set up towards here as they go to Tellers instead of the second floor following the initial loss in their basement site. Usual reinforcements are still going to be deployed, probably to play slightly into the upstairs sites, though, given the importance of holding those rooms to avoid any sort of soft destruction plays from the attackers. So as you can see, players like Timsy and Achieved still battening down the hatches right now to prepare to defend this for pretty much the entire round, if their play will allow that.
Well, this is a setup that we don't talk about too often, but Vigil as well as Mozzie actually work really well in tandem, especially when you throw the mute in there, but we don't have him on TSM right now. But when you take away drone game and then you have someone that can't be seen by drones, makes for a very fun time, especially for someone like the likes of Bolo, who loves to take those aggressive gunfights and win them quite often. We are going to have Timsy playing that Mozzie, Geo shifting over to Legion instead, and it really seems like TSM is not scared to flip the script.
Yeah, TSM running a very free-flowing operator lineup right now overall here. Not a single 3 armor on this lineup. I think it's all at minimum.
All gas, no brakes?
Yeah, pretty much. So they're going to go for full near, well, not necessarily glass cannon, but full aggressive loadout here this time on TSM. A few players still just sitting back and playing more passively. It's work to start as well, as Geo is going to find the first mark, taking out Necrox and eliminating the Maverick play from the attacking side. Achieve going to spot at least one additional player trying to move in upstairs, and Bolo will capitalize on that, taking out Gotcha.
And Bolo on the roam upstairs with Timsy, so an extended hold here. Frag grenade coming from the depths of CCTV, but it's not going to bag any damage onto anyone. EG already down 2 important people. Both hard destructors have been removed. It's left up to the remaining. And VK working his way up main stairs. Still plenty of time on the board and plenty of time to drone as well. Pre-fires down the main staircase, but no. And VK, the bullet slipped right past the head of the TSM member. Continues to fight his way. Still has 1 frag grenade, but continues to fall off. TSM doing a very good job of working their way as a unit. They seem to have a full-on move through this entire map as they just go through EG like a wrecking ball.
So Geo with a nice find there. His second on the round, if I do believe. That's going to bring EG down to, well, not much, unfortunately, at this point. Young with a nice find, however, catches Timsy, but will immediately see that traded back out by Geo. And now Young, so far the man who's gotten the only kill for EG on this round, now has to do it all. Bring out an ace in a 1v5. He does have a minute remaining, which is quite a bit of time, but he doesn't have the diffuser, he doesn't have a good position to play off of, and he doesn't really have great intel either. So this would be a near miracle if Young were somehow able to pull it off.
Well, I can tell you one thing he's got plenty of, and that's going to be bullets. 100 bullets per magazine inside of that M249. He can effectively take 4 gunfights if you want to put 25, obviously 4 times over, which should be, relatively speaking, the same amount of mag capacity that the F2 has on the offense in Twitch's hands. So Young can definitely do this. It's just going to require a lot, and a lot more time as well. Only 30 seconds remain, but this is more than likely just going to be a timeout type of round for Evil Geniuses. Let's sit here, let's talk about it going into the next round, exactly how we want to take. Might beg a couple for his leisure, but it's not even going to be that. It's going to be Geo with a 4K here in round 2.
Nicely done by Geo, picking up quite a few frags here on the round and bringing that roaming presence that we always knew that would come out from him and EG back over here to TSM as well from that Legion, so good stuff from him.
TSM overall right now has been, again, running things kind of like a one pack. They, whatever floor they're on, there's 2 to 3 people there, and whenever somebody shows any face from the offense, they all flock to that area in order to take multiple gunfights to deal with their target. It seems to work out really well for their playstyle. As you said, free-flowing. They don't play very many heavy operators. They're going to change that up, but it's going to be Doc. We all know that's a fragging operator who just happens to be 3 armor, and they're going to immediately switch off of it as soon as they start talking about it. Going to shift it over to the castle. They're going upstairs. They're more than likely going to be flying out a couple of windows.
There is still going to be some site presence, though, in the fact that the Echo is now being brought in here for Bolo at least, so more than likely he'll be sticking relatively close, if not directly on top of the site. So we're not going to see that very, very branched out pathing that we saw from TSM in the previous round back on the first floor. It's a little bit more traditional here now that we go to the second floor site.
And overall, Evil Geniuses isn't moving that slow either. I thought that might be something that plagues them moving on, but it really seems like they've been able to keep that same amount of speed that they had after Canadian left. Gotcha not having too much of an effect over that. Back in those support roles as we usually see him playing. The last time that he filled in quite often, he would play that Thatcher role. Now he's moved on over to Hard Destruction, picking up the Thermite and the Diffuse as well. So he's more than likely just going to be on the drone, call, and plant duty for the team of EG.
Last couple castle barricades going up here now as the timer does expire. Nothing crazy seeming like it's going to happen here from TSM, despite still bringing a pretty light lineup to the table. Everybody's holding pretty standard positions.
All right, well, it's time for the drone game, folks. We need to clear out that mid floor, make sure there's no pesky person with a nitro cell there as they start to work towards square. In order to take over the site, you're going to want control of the stock room, as well as square to get those walls open. More than likely going to want somebody on those north windows as well, just so no one can bandit, trick, or do anything of that sort. But as you guys can see, at the middle right of your screen, well, top right of your screen, they don't have anybody to do that, so you don't have to worry about it too much. You can just isolate the bottom square, have somebody get to the top with Hard Destruction, and blow those walls open.
Just going to move up there real quick to take care of the castle barricade. No actual attempt to throw pressure onto it just yet. That's going to be Young's job more than likely when he moves up here in a moment. He's still working on clearing out some of the default cams and possibly finding an entry avenue over towards stocks. But it's going to be quite some time before we see anyone really jump onto that. Merc as well, trying to play around the now busted window, sitting on the inside of CEO here. Well, more like Drone Hunter at this moment anyway.
No, that's Mozzie. You got it wrong there, folks. But plenty of time by Evil Geniuses wasted here as more drones pour in the windows. More than likely going to be shot again. Merc trying to peek and hold the angle. Oh, is the impact going to hit? It's not, and they're going to get a panel open. Merc paying attention to what he needed. Just paying attention to the person that might be trying to rappel up to kill him instead. But still plenty of occupancy here for TSM. Gotcha with a quick move, going to get the right-hand side panels now, but no, he's actually abandoning ship, hopping outside to get on rappel. Evil Geniuses overall, again, slow goings for them. We are going to have one of the fire bolts go down from the Capitao of Young, but that's going to be utility wasted really at this moment in time. Gosh is trying to get some pressure as Timsy's fighting him from inside of Janitor. Merc still inside of the quad windows over towards the northern side of the area. The secondary arrow has finally went down for the Capitao there. Switching a couple of megs around. Finally the smoke's going in. Oh, right on the tailcoats as Gotcha works his way in. They know where he is now. Plenty of pre-fire coming through. Geo tags one. That's going to be Gotcha. Diffuser down. 40 seconds remain. A quick shot, but it's going to be Mo to win it out as Timsy was holding the right-hand side of the door. They know where he is, though. Merc gets an immediate trade. Using Timsy as an effective drone with a little bit of damage, but it's going to get taken down by NVK as he rotates up main stairs. It's going to be onto Achieved. Still plenty of pressure, though, as Bolo's holding down E2. A quick flick, but it's going to be right on the tailcoats. Geo throws himself from the window, and TSM, what else would you expect?
Great hold from TSM on the upstairs site right there. Specifically, you got to give call-outs to Merc for the great play on Castle and falling back into this hallway when the going got rough. He had pressure from at least two different players coming onto him, possibly more at some of the more intense moments of that round, and he was still able to keep himself alive, and I'm pretty sure he multi-fried with 2 to 3 kills on just that round.
Actually, his kill on the Thermite got taken, so I believe he got one.
Yeah.
One or two.
Yeah.
One or two. But still, TSM with an extremely solid hold. Evil Genius is just not moving the meter at all, man. They got the top square pressure, but they didn't put any pressure on the Janitor until extremely late when Mo eventually got Timsy out after they identified him, after the guy had already died with Diffuser. Gotcha goes down. They're like, oh, hey, somebody's playing inside of here. We probably want to get rid of him. Finally frag him, but very, very low time on the clock and just not enough pressure overall to get a Diffuser down.
Yeah, EG definitely has a plan going into these rounds so far. They haven't necessarily looked lost or, you know, like kind of like just getting themselves stuck and looking for entry kills or anything. The problem was almost that they're too stubborn with their own strategy, that they're running into the setups from TSM in the last 2 rounds here.
Well, I mean, look at them in the top right picture. Do you want to gunfight any of them? I mean, honestly, I don't. I mean, Timsy literally looks like Russell Wilson, man. You want him throwing stuff at you? Like, no? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I had to get it in once, I promise. I had to. But overall, TSM having a pretty good show so far. Honestly, the setups have been extremely effective. I really like this hybrid hold that they do, where they, you know, set up an entire bunker offsite instead of like a couple of reinforcements and hey, you kind of just sit in here and kill people. They dedicate everything. Like, yeah, we got 3 people on Rome. We really don't care about the site. We just want to shoot you in your face.
So they are going to have quite a bit of that extended presence once again going into the 4th round. The site has gone back to its original destination, and this has been the only round that EG has won so far. It's been that basement attack. So it's time to see once again if they're going to be able to bring this strength to the table, or if TSM has figured out what went wrong in the last time and is now executing upon that.
Well, drone game coming in now, and as you guys know, Bank is a freaking huge map, man. It's a very, very large map. So they're going to be droning for quite a while. This is going to be dedicated to a lot of the supports, and well as the flexes. You see MBK also dedicating his drone game over to it as well. So trying to find some roamers and see exactly what this TSM setup is. As you guys have seen so far, the TSM lineup has been very prone to playing off-site. So they want to identify that out early on so they can try and deal with it or rotate their efforts towards the actual site. A very nice shot from MBK. Reads out the head of Merc, but Bolo out of nowhere with the trade. Bet you didn't expect that to happen, because I sure as heck did not. And another shot from Necrox, all the way from Copy inside of an open area. Oh my god.
Got to be just a little bit careful there. Unfortunately, Bolo thought he was going to be able to set himself up for another fight. He wasn't necessarily wrong, just a bit misguided about where that fight might have come from. So ends up losing the man advantage once again. And now EG has a +1 going in at 4v3 with a minute and a half left. Still need to get to the basement though. Like you've been mentioned, there's a lot of off-site play going on here. Like you can see Necrox going to have to waste a little bit of the torch in order to get this castle barricade open as well. So there's definitely still issues that EG are dealing with here, despite having a general advantage right now.
Well, the beauty of the roam game is they've wasted so much time. They're just now getting the small office hatch inside of open area, and there's only a minute and 10 seconds remaining. Timsy still has all 3 of his smokes and 2 nitro cells over on the side of TSM. That's a lot of utility still to burn.
Let's see here as well. Necrox just trying to get this hatch open as quickly as he possibly can.
Bomb has been located.
He's got to be a little bit careful on that though, as he will still give away his face if he's not cautious enough about the way that he's opening these hatches. Second hatch now going to be opened up for these guys with about 45 seconds left on the clock. Whatever they are planning, it needs to be fast and it needs to be clean. If anything goes wrong here, TSM might be looking at pretty much an immediate pickup on the win. Maverick will use what he has left of the torch in order to open up the back panel, and now they'll move in CCTV and try to get this plant onto the ground. First attempt coming in, there is a nitro cell going back. Achiev's going to take some heat from it, but he succeeds in going out what he accomplished here. Is able to stop the first attempt at planting the diffuser. Pressure's coming in from above though, so they're not out of the clear just yet. Here's the second plant attempt now. Second nitro cell, that should be way too deep. It is not going to find its mark, but the plant was canceled regardless. So EG still need to find their mark here. Geo actually just runs right at Young, gives the kill away from him. Smoke going out, does it stop Modiga from planting? I'm not entirely sure, not under these circumstances it doesn't. We're down to a 2v2 with Timsy's pickup though, but the plant is now on the ground. They need to move quick in order to take this back. Achieved, looking to quickly whip himself over there to the corner. We're just going to bring out the Toby eye tracker here now and see exactly how Timsy's going to try to play into this with Achieve. They don't have a great angle to work off of here. Last gas grenade goes out. It shouldn't really put enough pressure onto these guys, but Timsy tries his best. It's not going to work out though. EG holds in the post plant, and they pick up their second round in the basement.
I wish I could understand that call a little bit more by TSM. They rotate Timsy over to main stairs to hold down anyone trying to come down the staircase, obviously. Has a shotgun out waiting with open arms for anyone, but no one comes. They expend both nitro cells, and they still don't have anyone rotate back. So just a little bit of a missed call, I feel like, on that situation. Should have had somebody hold down the main stairs. Yeah, he's got a shotgun, but he also has the most important utility to try and deny that plant. Overall, though, it's going to be a tie game here. As we know, Bank kind of tends to be a teeter-totter as well, but it leans a little bit more defensive-sided just because the offense, if you mess up one step, you kind of lose the round. That one was cut very close by Evil Geniuses. But overall, I'd say that the roam game's still very, very good from TSM. I mean, they're wasting a lot of time. That was still a very, very close round for TSM. Just could not thwart off that plant, sadly.
Roam game overall has to be kind of limited, it seems, when it comes to defending the basement site, is you have a very finite time where you need to bring the defenses back or they're going to be locked upstairs, usually when the attackers take a certain amount of map control. So you can't fault them that much for not having the same amount of effective play on the roam game as we'd seen in some of the previous rounds. That should be coming back now, however, since 2 rounds have passed, we do have the Teller's site unlocked for play. This is by far the most one-sided round that TSM has had in this matchup at this point, so we'll have to see if they can bring a similar result to the table to give them back their lead, as EG has tied us up once again.
And funny enough, it's a site that we don't see that often anymore. Obviously, we still see it, but we've even had teams avoid it altogether and go open area instead. It really seems like no one really takes a kind of liking to this site anymore, but TSM, especially on that last round, as you said, was just seeing absolute wrecking balls. A very impressive showing by them. Gotcha's going to get one of his cameras stolen from one of Timsy's pests, so that's going to be another one for his drone army.
And that's obviously going to be a very important potential camera placement that TSM can have, since there is no real aggression coming out here from EG. I highly doubt any of them are going to spot that camera. So he has plenty of time, Timsy this is, in order to position that wherever he wants to.
We're going to drone out Merc inside of Janitors. Plenty of time, obviously, on the board. Seems to be that Evil Geniuses wants to try and handle the top hold first before allocating themselves towards the site. They definitely have plenty of utility to do so. 2 hard destructors, as well as Modiga on the Thatcher.
Gotcha looking for anything he might be able to find upstairs here, but not a whole lot revealing itself at this point. Got quite a few of the members of TSM also waiting patiently for this push to come in from EG. EG now is not going to know what to expect. They're not going to be slouches here. Timsy, a nice find, but can't find the mark, unfortunately. And Modiga ends up getting the better of him. Bolo at the same time trying to find one of the players on rappel. He can't get it done. Gio has to do it instead, and NVK now moves in to pick up Bolo.
Very low HP on the Thatcher, but he still remains with those EMP grenades. So definitely going to be able to help out Evil Geniuses get onto site and get a little bit more pressure. But the roam game has already been killed off. Merc's rotated back to site because what's better than a dead Jaeger and a live Jaeger, especially with that 416C. Achieve takes down Mo, and all of a sudden we're on equal footing here. Diffuser in the hands of Gotcha. Mo, very, very low on HP, so definitely does not shock you at all that he has eventually died. A minute left as Evil Geniuses is trying to take over the Teller's office area. Bulletproof Cam giving away all the information to TSM, especially with 2 dead on that side. This is where the comms are going to be extremely important. Toby Itrock to make sure you guys know what we are looking at. NVK gets ripped though from Gio as he hops back downstairs. It's going to be a double for him on the round. Making a double for Achieved as well. Can he get the triple? It's all left up to Young again. We saw him in this situation in the 2nd round of the series, and it's going to happen once again. Achieved with a triple kill, and Achieved overall just so very impressive so far.
If we are to follow the chain of events here, the next step here for TSM is going to be to go back upstairs and try to close things out in a 4-2 fashion. That's what's next for them, and we'll see if that holds true in just a second here once we get their site choice. And it's actually looking like they'll go back down to the basement to try that one more time. Nope, never mind. They'll switch that up at the last second. So they are going to head upstairs.
It's almost like you cast this game for a living. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're good at this. You should probably do this for a full-time job. Honestly.
You know?
Hey.
I got news for you.
Oh! Hey, me too, man. This bump. Heck yeah. All right, well, Executive CEO, as you said, is going to be the site. Merc's going to switch it on over to the ACOG instead. So 2 ACOGs picked up for the defense. Seems like it was waiting on it, but finally locks it in. So Doc, Echo, those are going to be your 2 ACOGs for the round. Echo a little bit more important, but as you guys saw, Bolo likes to play aggressive with that MP5 SD, and why wouldn't you? It's the best MP5 in the game, has the best damage margin, even with a suppressor. Still shocks me to this day that that exists. But hey, played up near the top of the elevator stairs, or main stairs last time. Worked out very well for them as he was able to keep the backbone locked down, which is that long hallway. Once you have control of that, you can kind of just walk your way into meeting. So it's a very, very important piece of the puzzle for TSM to maintain. Last time we were here, though, we saw Merc get extremely antsy with an up, but it eventually worked out. Gio got the kill from beneath that stopped Gotcha from putting a diffuser down, and we're trying to see if TSM can possibly replicate that.
Yeah, the MP5 SD, just to go back to that for a second, also is like a pretty forgiving gun in my opinion too, when it comes to like the spray control and the spray pattern itself. Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna be honest, it's a very easy gun to use. So you can get really aggressive with it, not have to focus too much on aim stability, and probably win most of your gunfights. And that's probably why we've got Bolo on it right now, because
the gun shoots straight. That's basically what Bolo. That's basically what Blue's trying to tell you, is that Bolo has a gun that shoots straight.
Work quite a bit with a gun like that.
Absolutely. 30 seconds into the round now, though. Overall, Evil Genius's offensive unit, as we said, has been moving actually pretty well pacing-wise. I'm actually very shocked that, well, at least on this site the last time, that they were kind of stumped as to what they wanted to do. Eventually, Gotcha just threw himself at the site and was hoping he could possibly get a diffuser down, and obviously that got thwarted. But EG overall have been very good with their utility usage. I think that's the thing that's impressing me the most overall right now, is that they're coordinating things extremely well. If they can continue to do this, once we get over or deeper into these maps, I really feel like they could come out on top. Achieved will be the first one expelled from the defense. That's going to be the Jaeger. NVK knocking him out of his socks real quick, and Evil Geniuses have the man advantage.
It's actually a three-man crunch onto that. As a player moving in from up on top into stocks as well. So they take some control up top. Yeah, quite a bit in order to get it. Oh, Bolo attempts to get aggressive and does not come out on top of his engagement. Barely even gets any damage. NVK just rolling around on his enemies right now. 3 kills within just a few seconds of each other, and we're down already to just Merc and Timsy.
It's the young guns here. They're going to have to pull something out. This is something that Timsy is especially known for, is those crazy 2v5 situations. This man has been able to do it for quite a long time. We'll see if he can do it at this stage of the game against all professional players. Merc and Timsy, TSM's last hope here in round 6. First shot comes off. It's going to be Merc onto Mo, trying to bring it back, but that's going to be one of the exothermic charges going off on the wall. Merc with the flick takes down MBK. That's a double for him on the round, but he's going to need some support from Timsy here, or maybe not. That's a triple, as Gotcha has to hop off the diffuser. Eyes locked in, but Gotcha takes down Tim as he rotates through sight. It's going to be an ace clutch here for Merc if he can possibly make it happen. He's got 2 to find, though. Diffuser still needs to go down. It's a long shot, and Merc, no, he can't do it. Gotcha shuts him down inside of meeting, and Evil Geniuses so close to defeat in that round.
Celebrations of relief more than anything from EG right there, as they just barely managed to hold themselves together. Following it off, though, from the great opening play from NVK, who walked right through the entire defensive setup. If it wasn't for Merc, this round could have been a very, very dominant one for EG.
Well, weren't supposed to win the round anyway, but it was very, very flashy, I can tell you that. And you almost got a feel for Tim there in that 2v5 situation, just get immediately removed. You're like, well, crap. I don't. Well, I tried. That's really it. So shifting on over to the offensive side, we're going to split here on the bank halves, as Timsy is going to be over on the Thermites. IQ, Mav, Buck, and Thatcher will make up the rest of that lineup. And the thing I want to talk about the most is the Buck on Achieved. One of those most known operators, extremely prominent on this op, to the point where people used to just ban it away from him on every single map. So he's going to have access to that. Buck isn't the most effective operator on this map just because there's not that much soft destruction as opposed to maps like, per se, Consulate or Coastline. So might as well let him have it. Why not?
So the rest of those setups now working their way in here, as we have finally entered that second half, and time to see what EG has to bring out to the table on their defensive side. As you might expect, they'll also go to basement on the opening round, similarly to what we saw from their opponents here. Obviously, things for TSM not going too well in the basement, though, which is a surprise, as that's usually the more consistently won defender-sided site. Doesn't end up being the case, at least right here at the start, though. And EG will now get to see if they have better luck defending this lower threshold.
Well, EG's offensive half overall pretty impressive, and honestly, I really feel like it's what we usually see from them. A pretty split across the field amount of kills, all except for MVK leading the pack, especially after that triple kill on the IQ from the last round. Amazing from them so far. TSM neck and neck with them, and we really need just a little bit of showing from the bottom of the leaderboard there, and I really feel like TSM can rocket ahead. Drone game now being allocated for them, and as we were talking about earlier, Bank, such a large map, takes quite a while to get this done. Gio going in through electrical room here as Mo is playing inside of kitchen. This is more than likely going to be the first contact.
No, he's going to crawl in, so for those of you who missed what he just did right there, he didn't make the breach sound going in through electrical, so they don't necessarily know that he's pushed it. He's hoping that somebody gets aggressive on this and then he could try to catch some of the opening kills, but his teammates are also getting quite a bit of free control upstairs, so they're going to jump right ahead of him and take full square. Modiga would be the first one to try and resist this from the inside of Staff. He's going to try and spam it a little bit as Gio tries to push himself out, but don't believe the damage is going to be marked as well as he would have liked. Merc instead strikes first this time and takes out NVK.
Oh, what a shot from Mo. Reads out Merc's rotation, especially after those shots through the wall. Pretty easy to telestrate. Necroc now rotates up blue to hold down that hallmark location that gets fought over so many times on this map. Gio still inside of E-room. He's been here for about a minute now. Continues to flick back and forth through angles. Going to expel a couple of stuns onto blue, but nothing's going to fall into Necrox's lap. Still has ADSs as well, though, so overall, these two neck and neck. Evil Genius is working out pretty well on defense. That time especially in their favor. You need a lot of time to try and get rid of all of the utility that the defense has to throw at you where you're trying to get a plant down, and TSM doesn't have the required areas in order to even attempt that just yet. Still working on hatches, don't have control of server.
So just under a minute remaining here now. And TSM still yet to really get any of that basement control that they really desperately need to find now if they're going to have any hope of setting up for an execute on time. The hatch leading into server still has not been breached either if they're going to try and just push downstairs.
Oh, no.
Like he's actually going to just take direct challenge on this possibly. Barbed wire is gone, so he's got to be careful. You can see. Also has lost the first ADS. The second one looks like it can still absorb some grenades though. So this is still a safe position for Necrox. And as you might have expected, TSM have basically had to abandon ship here and put all of their hopes on a main stairs push along with these drops.
You're kidding. Are they all gonna do? Oh my God, here we go, folks. Young gets one. He has him down in the garage though. Achieve trades it out. It's still a 2v3 in favor of TSM. They need to get this plant down though as Timsy's finally jumping on that. It's a 2v2. Mo with a double on the round as they try to rotate back in, but that plant's about to be secured. Timsy back up and the gun is live. You can't believe that worked, but it did. It's gonna be from a long range and Achieve gets them both. TSM, what in the hell was that?
How does that work? A four-man drop down hatches and they get the site. Crazy play from TSM, a Hail Mary, and it works out to give them the lead back over EG.
Achieved was cackling. That man was laughing so hard.
It shouldn't have worked. That's why.
Never in a million
They should have died the second they dropped.
That looked like my rank games. That's what that looked like. Hey guys, we can't get servers, so we're just gonna throw ourselves down these hatches and, you know, hope to God something works. And it just so happened to be that the only man watching a hatch was Young.
Yep, and he seemed to have a good idea that was happening too. He was all the way out in garage, taking the correct angle for the fight. So I don't know what went wrong with EG on the communication side, but they either didn't realize what was about to happen or didn't read it properly. And it was just so much of a surprise that TSM was able to run over them with it. Definitely not going to be able to pull off something like that twice, however. So don't put that in your back pocket for later. We've got the rest of TSM that's now going to have to change up their play style regardless as EG goes for a quick switch up upstairs now instead of taking the route over towards Tellers like we saw TSM do.
Well, Evil Geniuses, gotcha. Going to be on the Valkyrie, and they're also going to pick up the Mozzie that we saw TSM use quite well. Very interested to see where these black eye cams are going to be because we don't have an IQ on the, oh, excuse me, we do have an IQ on the offense. Pardon my French there, sir. So, Gotcha needs to allocate these into the proper areas. I want to see if he uses, it does seem like he is going to use it, the outside camera here to the eastern side of the lobby. This is one that's used quite often, but since it is used quite often, Bolo's probably going to find it immediately. Bolo's been rocking the IQ quite often in recent history, and again, I always say this, it really feels like TSM did such a good job on bringing Bolo up to speed inside of competitive at this level. They had him on support roles at first, slowly weaning him into playing in these more aggressive roles, and he has shown just how good he is with those ACOGs because his IQ play is breathtaking.
It's been great stuff over the last few months to see him kind of grow in the TSM roster, and
grows in our hearts as well.
It's only going to get better. I think as these months and hopefully years go by.
Always got to hope on the years. Long careers here inside of Rainbow Six Siege.
Esports, you know?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it is esports.
Stuff happens.
Things do indeed happen. Stun grenades pour in from Geo as he gets one of the windows open on the northern side of things. And this is going to be an area that you want to hold down. It's pretty easy to cut off rotations inside of sight, what have you, from this location. But there's a little bit of a worry on the other side. We do have a class that could probably end up killing someone here, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Merc gets a kill into Gotcha. Nitro Cell doesn't go off, so Timsy's actually going to be able to remain safe. Still has 2 stuns though, not rocking the Claymore, so won't be using those. Seems to be a little bit more of an aggressive setup for him. Texan Dynamite still has one of those. Those are going to be the exothermic charges, but since he has the elite skin on, well, it's Texan Dynamite this time around. Merc working his way into stock. They already have a wall open and plenty of time to try and get a plant down now. They just need a couple extra picks, specifically Young. If they were able to get the Clash off the board, this would make things a whole hell of a lot easier for them, just because she's an immovable force.
Got a minute remaining, a little over that actually. And again, TSM taking their time on this, not wanting to give away any additional players. They've got the man advantage. There's no reason for them to risk it. They've got to figure out how to deal with this clash, though, as you were just mentioning. That's going to be their biggest obstacle on moving into the site. And Geo is hoping they might be able to pick up a few players from the window repel. Flashing in, I guess they maybe don't know the clash is there, but it won't matter. Achieved. The clash steps out of the way, and he's able to steal a kill against Mo.
And Tim is planting right now, and the diffuser's down. He takes a little bit of damage, but Achieve gets a kill for it. Timsy almost gets out, but Necrox is dead. Double to add it on. Clash is dead, but Necrox goes for 3. Still has 2 to find to try and shut this down, but it's post-plant, especially upstairs on CEO. Somebody's got to hop out and kill the man, especially after Bolo. Oh my! He almost gets it, folks. You almost saw it, but he shuts it down. Necrox and Geo, the only 2 remaining inside of the server, but it should be Geo's round. He's got to try and hop or somehow kill this man. Is he hopping the window? He is, but it's going to get an immediate frag, and Geo secures the round for TSM.
Still a great 4K from Necrox on that round. Nearly solo aces it, along with a clutch on top of that to bring his team back under control here, but it's not going to happen. TSM finding their footing and quickly looking to not only establish a lead, but push ahead with it. Now at 2 rounds past EG and only 2 more away from the W on map number 1.
All I'm getting in my ears right now is remembering exactly what Ram said. You know, when you fill in for Pojo, really all you have to do is have good comms, use your utility right, and get these plants down. Because Timsy only has 1 kill, but they're winning rounds over and over again just because of how skilled the rest of the roster is. If you really do your job, then you're going to have success.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be completely honest, Timsy's having a pretty terrible game right now.
Oh, yeah,
when it comes to, like,
it's not a good time.
Most of his 1v1s have been lost. I mean, you mentioned he's only got one actual kill. Utility-wise, though, he's been able to accomplish pretty much what he's been brought in here to do. The Thermite roll and attack, the smoke roll, which, to be fair, he did have some difficulties with that on, especially like one of the basement rounds back in the first half.
This is a weird way to set that up. I really don't know why they dedicated the 2 nitro cells over there, but continue.
But yeah, besides that, like, utility-wise, he's been fulfilling his role, and for the moment, that seems like it's all that's needed. That's not necessarily going to continue to be the case, though, as this series goes on. So we'll have to hope that at least the fragging performance still is going to improve at least a little bit.
Can we call it the USN shakes now? We do.
Yeah, I guess so.
Timsy with the USN shakes.
Yeah, and that is a big key part of this, of course. This is his first time at a LAN of this scale, so that could very well be a piece of the puzzle here.
Hey, just you know, you got to embody that Russell Wilson-esque look. You know, you got to pretend that you've been there before. You know,
just act like you belong, right?
Act like you belong. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, timeout for Evil Geniuses as you and I continue to banter back and forth. And overall, all smiles over on the TSM bench. And I mean, why not, man? You guys are having a good time. To be completely honest, you're playing with the sub. So, like, is there really that much that's expected from you? No. You're here to have a good time. You're here to try and improve your core roster overall. And, hey, you're in the lead against one of the most known identities inside of esports.
EG almost won with the sub last year.
Yes, they did. And then they didn't.
And then they got 2nd place. Of course, looking to improve that this year as they try to steal the title away from Rogue, who, well, quite obviously can no longer hold on to that title. So it's actually quite fitting as it's now gone up for grabs anyway.
Yeah, Rogue has, well, Rogue's dead. We killed him. Yeah. So that's kind of how it goes, you know? As you were talking about earlier, that's just esports. When it comes stuff happens, and sometimes you're like, I've loved this team for years, and they are gone.
And they're gone.
And they're gone.
And it's gone.
Put $25 in, and it's gone. Oh my goodness.
TSM will still maintain this solid lead now as they go on to their next attacking round. It is going to be against the basement assault once again. So far, both teams' defenses here on the basement have been pretty bad. I don't think we've had a single one defender basement round in this map so far. This would be the 4th time it's been attempted. So obviously correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. There may be 1 or 2 rounds that were picked up by the defenders here, but it's been very attacker-sided today, at least in this matchup. So that'll be an issue that Evil Geniuses will once again have to deal with if TSM is able to find that same success. Bolo quickly moves in. As you might expect on a round like this, EG not really going to have a whole lot of roaming presence to defend against the push like this. They're much more focused in the basement, so Bolo will walk right up.
I'm going to say, you say that, but TSM is like, nah, we'll take everybody off the site. Why not? 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, though. TSM making quick work of these hatches. Geo's already working on small office hatch or admin, whatever you know it as, and this is going to be making pretty good time, as opposed to last time where that really wasn't the case. So more than likely going to have the rest of the TSM unit working on blue stairs. Need to try and get some presence there, get rid of Necrox. They have a Claymore set up, so he can't rotate too hard to the outside of that staircase. He's isolated now. He's locked in. They don't want to use one of those exothermic charges from Timsy, though, to open up the hatch. They just want to expend all of that utility and then try and frag him out. They're going to dump an EMP to more than likely get rid of some of those ADSs. The real question is Achieve still using stun grenades? No, he's fixed it. He's moved on over to frags.
So now they can successfully push this out. Achieve tries to go in for the quick scope on the gas grenade, but is not going to be able to find his mark there. It's not worth using this nade if they're not going to push it, so that's why Achieve is holding out on it. The gas grenade doesn't stop him from throwing it or anything. However, he will peek directly into his opponent. Necrox just fully sends it out the door. He does get one. He knows he's committed at that point, but Timsy is there to trade it back and bring us back into a 4v4 situation. Still with a minute left, this is much more of a traditional push from TSM, as they're not dealing with the same time constraints they were on the last attack here.
Especially with Smoke dead, there's only Nitro cells to try and stave them off. They do still have Young, obviously, with the Echo. Echo's going to read out one, but Timsy gets a kill on a Mo after he gets down, so already doubling his kills in one single round. 45 seconds remain. They need to get this wall open. You guys can see one of the Valkyrie cameras over in the corner, so they'll be able to telegraph when Timsy tries to go for this plant. He's looking for the Yokai, and he gets said Yokai. So no information for Young on site now, as they're trying to open up every bit of piece of wall to try and get angles down into the site. Achieve works his way into small office as Bolo focuses his sights on main stairs. Plants goes down now, but the immediate Nitro Cell takes down Timsy. Only 17 seconds remain. Somebody's going to have to try and pick that up and put that back down. It's going to be Achieve. Secondary Nitro Cell gets shot out of the air. Geo hot on the trail this time around, and that should be a secured plant. Oh, he trades it out. Can he get two? He can. Gotcha with the second kill. That's a triple for him on the round, but can Bolo see it from the hatch? That's going to be the main importance, and no, it's Young waiting with open arms to stop him. And Evil Geniuses with round 9.
Great retake from EG at the end there, specifically from Gotcha to pick up those 2 kills. You could tell they had a player on position to just stop those Nitro Cells from being tossed in. A direct contestation against the plant was the only way to pick up that retake, and Gotcha answered the call. Found not only that, but picked up the planter as he was trying to retreat as well. Easy to fuse from that point forward, as it's just a matter of isolating out the hatch.
That hatch is so pivotal over that entire site, and very heads-up play by Young to know that he's going to try and challenge into that. Because if he chose wrong and the guy rotates down blue, it's all over. Everybody's dead. Well, as we jump into round 10 now, this is a heck of a lot closer than I think the community really thought. As we saw the community vote earlier, you guys thought heavily that TSM was going to be the victor. Also, if you guys notice, there's a particular man walking around behind TSM. It's actually Pojo Man. You might be wondering, why is Pojo standing there and not playing? Well, I'll tell you exactly why TSM Pojo is standing there and not playing. His visa didn't come through in time, and it's not in the rulebook that you can't coach without a visa, so that's exactly why he's standing there. You have to have the visa to play, you don't have to have that visa to coach. So he will be helping them out throughout the weekend, and so far so good, I'd have to say. They're up on round count, and I mean, what else do you really have to say about that?
That's exactly what they need in this point in time. EG, though, hot on their tails. They may not have that advantage for much longer if things continue as they are now. It's always been that basement site, though, where we've been seeing teams have a lot of issues, and EG finding a win there is possibly a sign of change. That we don't end up seeing more success come from TSM on this next Teller's attack, where previously, again, they've done some pretty good work here.
All right, well, MBK readying himself for a gunfight towards the car parking lot. Not going to find much, as no one will actually rotate up there. Bolo instead has other matters to attend to, specifically ATMs. 2 drones roll in, and more than likely 2 people will as well. Since there's a castle barricade, they're going to use Achieve's big breaching hammer to break that open. And now Bolo has free reign all over a lobby. It is going to be the Archives Teller's hold here. We saw TSM favorite this on their defensive side. We'll see if Evil Geniuses is like-minded.
Still just trying to knock out some of the windows to deal with the upstairs defenders that are going to be in position near CEO and some of their surrounding rooms. TSM and specifically Geo will be droning this out over the next, I would say, 30 seconds or so before we finally start to see them commit. And there's that presence being exercised. We've got Bolo kind of spamming in right now over towards the elbow to see if anything is going to be picked out from there. But again, nothing revealing itself this early on in the round. It's still very, very early days here for EG to be trying anything aggressive like that. A bit too late, a bit too past the expected point that we would have seen that being tried in the early round.
Easy goings for TSM. They already have a wall open as well. As you guys heard the exothermic charge go off from Timsy, and he's also got the diffuser, so make sure you guys are paying attention to where he is on the map, because that's going to tell you when things start to pop off. MVK gets the first kill onto Bolo. That was the man who rotated in through ATMs. Achieves is literally inside of the building already. He's got the vertical pressure. Timsy with one. He catches Gotcha on rotate. I'm going to assume up square stairs. No, he rotated up E2, actually, near Janitor. Chief catches someone on Banana, but it's going to be right on the tailcoats. Mo finally taking quite a bit of damage. Achieved confirms the kill, and they have the opening frags that are needed. But now they actually need to get to the actual site. Achieves first sledge break through the floor. Shows a little bit of the A site as Gio just starts pre-firing through to see if he can possibly get anything.
Merc once again looking for any opportunities that might be presenting itself as he pops open that main doorway. The rest of TSM not necessarily looking like they're in position to start anything just yet, as Achieve goes looking for pretty much anything up here. But again, EG not lining up into those positions, so no additional kills being found just yet. TSM can't really hold this off for too much longer. We need to see a commitment, and we need to see it soon. Otherwise, EG's man disadvantage may not really be much of a factor here. But TSM leaves themselves only a couple of seconds to move in. That's going to change now, and it seems like they were focusing on a bit of drone presence, which may explain the cause of delay. Finally, they're able to pick up that third kill on the round, bringing EG down to only 2 players here now, one of which is in the basement. They might have to rotate.
Yeah, this is a very, very large gamble. MVK switching over to the pistol to try and get a little bit more movement speed. Young shuts down the first one, but Timsy's the one with the diffuser. Make sure you guys are watching where he's at. They do have all control of the site now. Nitro still comes in, but it's not going to be marking. No! Young takes down Timsy behind the table. They didn't have complete site control, and that's exactly what's going to happen. He finds the right angles and ends up clicking the head of the thermite. And that's going to be an easy round for Evil Geniuses.
And there's the issue for TSM on holding off that play for so long and trying, hoping that their sledge would have picked something up from upstairs, and that doesn't happen. They didn't have the time necessary in order to get into the site, and it didn't seem like they got the appropriate amount of intel for the post plan, as they never caught that rotate back into the site. That would have eventually led to the loss at the end of it. So 5-5, we are tied up once again between these two teams, still on the first map as well. Both teams now need to run a flawless 2 rounds in a row if they want to end it in regulation. Otherwise, if they trade the next 2, we will be going to overtime to decide the first map.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
All right, well, matchup at 5-5 through 10 rounds, round 11. So somebody's got to take the lead here. Can TSM possibly stave off Evil Geniuses, or will EG finally bring this back to the top? Again, the Evil Geniuses, this is their map choice, so 5-5 is not something you'd exactly expect on that, but especially when, you know, Evil Geniuses is kind of the bank team. That's what everyone regularly talks about. Obviously, lots of roster changes since then, but still, I feel like that fact is known. Overall, the defensive setup, very unique in the likes that they are bringing Young on the alibis. An operator we don't see too often. She has prismas that are clones of herself, that if you shoot, it marks you 5 times within, I believe, 5 seconds. 1 time per second. So, plenty of utility. NVK goes for a Hail Mary here, but doesn't take very much. Gonna expend more than likely 2 of its stim pistols, but no, only keeps it at 1. Only need half your health.
So we'll see in just a second. He actually still has to reload that one.
Oh, he's going to use them both.
Yeah, he ended up using
I didn't wait long enough. I'm very impatient.
I didn't call it to get the reload off either, so it's all good. But yeah, he does use that second stim. He's going to have himself right at around 100 HP again, so no harm, no foul when it comes to that peak. At the same time, though, wasn't really able to connect much damage either. So besides getting the spawn location of a few players known, not really anything that's going to be gained from that push besides the loss of utility.
Well, TSM still needs plenty of presence to try and get a plant down here, but as you guys know, the round's still pretty young. So, TSM has complete control of lobby, but they still have to worry about Banana. NVK has an aggressive peek towards ATMs, and it's going to be Timsy that's playing inside of there, but it's a very awkward angle that NVK is holding, so more than likely not going to be telegraphed out very well, and it won't be, but Bolo with an immediate shot onto Young that's all the way from the west windows that he's currently repelled on. This is a way to stop that from happening. Merc beats some barb at the top of the main stairs. Here's one coming E2, Nitro Cell, but he backs off immediately, so it's not going to deal too much damage. Some flames burning inside of the front office from more than likely Geo's crossbows is the only one that could possibly have that effect over the map. Halfway through the round now, already have the pick opening things up. Concussions now pour up. They definitely know that someone's upstairs in that 90 area of the elevator hallway. Merc's going to try and confirm it with a drone. Achieves working his way up white stairs here. Merc to challenge, but he might get challenged in from the front office. It's going to be NVK on a prone angle. G almost gets his head torn off as someone pre-fires through the windows towards the western side now. This take needs to happen. TSM expending so much utility, so much time on trying to make this work. Mo reps one, it's going to be Butlow. It seems like Evil Geniuses is really starting to take the lead here. Achieve though, sees an elbow. It's going to be the elbow of the Valkyrie. That's Gotcha playing inside of Meeting. Still do have two other remaining members of TSM, but as long as they have this elevator hall locked down, it's going to be very hard for TSM to gain any footing. Gotcha takes down, or excuse me, Geo takes down one, Achieve takes down another. Mo with a quick move takes down Timsy. Geo to fall as well. It's all left up to Achieved. He shoots a Prisma, but now they've got markings on him. 37 seconds remain.
It's all foot right there. Should have seen a foot to his right side. He's not going to be able to find the damage he needs onto it, however. Goes hunting, peeks into conference room once again, but fails to notice Necrox beneath the meeting table, and that's going to lead to his death. EG's resurrection here into the lead as well, as they put themselves on map point at 6-5. They win this one. They've got control of the map, but it's only this round they have to close it out. Otherwise, we reset and go into OT.
Oh, so that's why Gotcha's playing so well. He's got RGB on his mouse pad. You gotta have that RGB mouse pad, you know?
Does he actually have that here?
Yes, he does. Yeah. Gotta RGB your RGB, folks.
I feel like
that's how you're a real gamer.
I feel like that would be like a pain to travel with. Like,
it probably is. I mean, it's a soft mat. It's not a hard.
Oh, so it actually like rolls and stuff.
I would assume so. That's what it looks like, at least if I know my products.
I've never like actually used one of those.
I've had one and it was abysmal, and I got rid of it immediately. So But overall, a great showing from both sides of the coin so far. Specifically, Evil Geniuses. I'd say that Gotcha is filling the roles out very, very nicely. And a well-timed timeout from TSM as well, as Pocha's got some thoughts on things. Seems that the coordination from the defense really hasn't translated too well to the offense and how they were really handling things. Their defensive unit, they were just wrecking ball through the entire offensive unit. That was the plan. It's like, okay, we're literally just blitzing. That's kind of the plan, you know what I mean? On their offense, though, a little bit more slow going, and EG has been able to capitalize on that by playing passively, but with these aggressive angles, like what we saw from the top of the grand staircase, where they held down from inside of the front office as well as the elevator hallway, just kind of pinched the top of the staircase. It's very difficult to fight two angles at once, as everybody knows. So while they're playing extremely passively and only trying to go for one piece of land at a time, it's very easy for them to handle that.
Well, guys, pause has concluded, so we are going back into game here in just a moment. And once again, for those of you who may just be joining us, EG currently sits on map point in a best-of-3 series, going up against TSM. They must win on this round, however. Otherwise, if their opponents, TSM, pick it up, they go to overtime, and that potentially opens up a possibility for TSM to steal this map as well.
All right, well, EG goes downstairs for our last round of regulation here on Bank. We're going to have plenty of denial utility this time. We got nitro cells galore, as well as two of our hallmark operators in denial. Young on the Echo and Necrox on the Smoke. Those toxic babes especially. Fantastic utility in order to stave off an offense. They can deny 45 seconds if played absolutely perfectly. They each deny 10 seconds, but with dancing back and forth with the diffuser and what have you, you can deny just a little bit more.
Attacker's objective is to
So
locate
Prep
a bomb.
Phase going to finish off here. We've got the Attacker's TSM spawn out. We've got a fact as well. In EG's last 5 games on Bank, they've won their basement defenses 83% of the time. At the moment, however, they're only 1-1 with a 50% win rate.
Well, that's a stat.
Important to note, like I mentioned this earlier too, defenders on that basement site have been a pretty mixed bag, so this might be the opportunity that TSM needs. Mind you though, the only round TSM won was on that crazy last second drop play that probably kind of caught Evil Geniuses with their pants down a little bit, so.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's going to happen again, unless NVK somehow dies while sitting inside of Gold Vault. But I don't see that happening either.
So a lot of this comes down to your more traditional methods of execution, which we saw that TSM still came close to winning that round as well, but ultimately faltered on the retake from EG.
Well, they know Young's inside of Garage, as you guys saw. Bolo's little wrist scanner is able to read anyone on their phones, and since Echo is going to be doing a lot of that, you can see him through walls, as well as that cardiac sensor in the hand of NVK.
Trying his best to wait for any opportunity. I don't think he's going to catch any aggression from TSM in the garage itself. We do see Merc once again trying to knock out those toxic gas grenades before they can be deployed, but so far no luck on that, so Necrox is going to continue to have his capability to throw aggression at these stairs. The drone does move in and should have caught the fact that there's no more ADSs sitting in the stairway here. There is still a Yokai drone though, and that could cause some problems, but apparently not enough. Merc gets a clean kill on Necrox, and they now have the stair control.
That was so well orchestrated. Dump the frag grenade down as well as peek, because you know it's not going to be in range enough to do any damage to you. A little bit of a surprise for Necrox sitting at the bottom of blue as well. The hatch is now open. This is the time for TSM to take over the site. Need to get the wall open and start burning through this utility as fast as possible though. 2 nitro cells to expend as well as getting rid of some yokai, but we do still have 2 EMP grenades as well as Bolo alive with that IQ.
Bolo in the meantime still holding that top hatch, but looking to move positions a couple seconds later here. Down to the final minute. Geo having to pop open part of the back wall once again on the Maverick in order to give his team purview into the site. Actually trying to get the whole thing out, it looks like here, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that as cleanly as he would like. First plant attempt coming in now. Let's see if the Nitro Cell responses are going to come in. There we go from Geo, and it's not an attempt to knock down the wall. He is looking for Nitro Cell kills. First Nitro Cell's a whiff though, so it's not going to stop the plant. It's a much, much cleaner plant this time. More Nitro Cells being deployed by the defenders, but they're not going to be able to mark with much. Merc moves in, is able to catch Gotcha for free.
Oh, that's going to be the first kill for Bolo as he continues to tack on. Oh, it's going to be a double. Can he make it a triple? No, he can't. NVK finally brings it back, but not before 2 of his teammates die. And then timer's already at half. A bunch of pre-firing coming through for TSM. This is more than likely not going to be the best round. Geo gets taken down. NVK bringing it closer and closer, but Achieve stops it, and we're going to OT on Bank.
So overtime is our destination here now. Between these two teams, TSM bring enough strength back on that final execute. And finally, everything goes their way on the execute itself. Gaining the stairs control with relative ease, not having to waste a good minute or two getting that control. Able to move down without much of an issue, taking server control, get those walls open, and most importantly, the defenders finally not being in position and not being able to utilize utility appropriately for the first time in all 3 of the attempts that we had there.
Well, starting on defense for overtime will be Evil Geniuses. They go back downstairs, feel like something went wrong, and they have an ability to fix it. So, everybody in the crowd, you're looking beautiful today. Especially the man that gave the thumbs up. I appreciate you. I think that's Red Cube, isn't it? I can't remember. Anyways, if it is, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So there you go. Moving into the overtime now, though. We still have plenty of game to be played, folks, so make sure you guys are awake. Grab your amp game fuel and sit on down.
All right, guys. Well, we are into overtime here. As I was mentioning, it's EG that gets the honor of starting out on defense. Their opponents will jump onto attack. We are going to go back to that basement site. And once again, EG gets a rematch from the very last round. Time to see if they can pick it up and be the team that holds map point first in our final 3 rounds of the match. Or map, at least.
Yeah, just the map. We still have a possibility of 2 of those to go, Blue. Gosh.
How 5 seconds
How
to
dare
go.
you?
This one's been neck and neck, and I imagine that we're going to continue with that into the next 2 maps as well. I don't see any one of these 3 maps being a huge advantage to one team or the other here.
No, so far by both of these teams, there hasn't been a round that they just absolutely obliterated the other team. The only one I can really think of is TSM on that roam for their Teller's Archives hold. That was really it. That's the only round where we've seen someone just decimate the other team. Otherwise, it's been neck and neck, and it's really just been a battle of who's better with utility. I mean, the last time in the most successful EG defense downstairs is when Geo missed a Nitro Cell, and it killed Timsy on plant, you know? And we almost had that happen again, but the Nitro Cell was thrown wrong. So these rounds are literally just being won off of proper utility use.
TSM is going to hope that, once again, that Nitro Cell is not going to be able to find its marker. At a minimum, Geo will be able to successfully eliminate that cell should it be thrown at his teammate upon planting. Down to the 2-minute marker, we are just starting to see players get in position to start pushing down blue stairs into server. It'll be the same process you guys have been watching here for the last couple of rounds now, trying to knock out Necrox and force him back. That first toxic gas grenade, though, is going to waste a good amount of time.
Playing so aggressive for server control here, especially on the blue stairs. Still have frag grenades for Achieved as he dumps the first one in, but not going to do any damage to the like of Necrox. That's the second Toxic Babe as he gets closer and closer to the top of the staircase. Expends a drone, but he does still have plenty of people in behind him as well. So we do have Mo as I believe one more downstairs inside of server. So they're trying to waste as much of TSM's time as possible. Necrox getting aggressive, pre-fires through, Achieved with another frag grenade, and he peeks along with it, and it's going to bag him Necrox once again. All of a sudden, blue control in their hands. Mo donning the mantle, but immediately vacates the area after the hatch gets opened.
And Modiga doesn't want anything to do with that server hold and basically dooming his own life by falling back there, so retreats to the inside of the site itself instead. Merc, a quick check for any Valkyrie cams or any other utility that might have been left in the corners here. None going to be found, so easy for his team to now move forward. Once again, getting that wall open. I mean, no more issues with time. You know, this is the second round now. We've had a very clean push through server to get them into CCTV. This is where the problems still have the potential to pop up relatively easily. That was on the plant, on this final push into the A site.
Well, you can't account for a mistake at this time by Geo. He needs to get this Nitro cell, but no, Timsy's actually going to vacate the space, and I believe that actually got eaten up by the EMP. Secondary Nitro comes out, Geo gets it, Timsy's still alive. Needs to get the plant down now, though, as they've gotten rid of both of the Nitro cells. Oh. Geo gets shot, oh no, this could be terrible, terrible news. They do still have hatch presence, but Timsy and Geo have both been downed. Only 10 seconds remain. They're going to have to try and frag out of their minds to close this out. Bolo with two, I didn't think he could get him. What? Oh my, TSM! What is that fragging power? Bolo just runs down main and kills everyone.
At least 3 in those final seconds. No one had any idea that he was coming, it seems, as he just runs downstairs, and every single player he kills basically has their back turned to him. It's easy frags. It's not even a challenge for Bolo. He just walks right in.
Just owns the place, man. Like, no one even looked at him any certain way. The only person that had a reaction, really, was the Echo. And it dealt a little bit of damage, but Bolo with a nice crouch bounce there avoids the headshot, takes down the Echo, and immediately frags over onto the Pulse. And as we saw, it was an immediate kill by the other remaining member of TSM as well. So what a way to bring it back in the last 10 seconds. Because after Geo died and there was no Overwatch on the plant, that's a very, very scary place to be in.
That's going to be TSM getting away with murder on that basement attack for the second time this game now. They had that crazy drop strat back in regulation too, and now Bolo gets away with a back flank that someone should have been able to catch, but just didn't end up happening as it transpires far too quickly for EG to catch on to. Big win from TSM, and now they have the defensive round here on Map Point.
And they're going to be going back to the sites. No, actually, they're going to be going downstairs. Nope. No, it is Tellers. It is Tellers. I had to look at the middle one. I was trying to identify it from Timsy's screen there, but no, it is going to be Tellers. So last time around, we saw a pretty good roam game the first time they ran this. Second time didn't work out too well. So TSM, I'm going to assume, is going to go for the utmost aggression. And as we say, that's exactly what we're going to get. Merc goes fishing. Let's see if he bags any loot. And it's not going to happen. He walks away a little bit too quickly because right there would have been a free kill onto Young. And actually, no, there is bullets in that window, so he probably would have died. Good thing that he moved away, huh?
It's even going to end up getting Claymore here just to make sure no one's going to try anything crazy. Still with a good possibility to find a kill, however, as that Claymore is well onto the ground, so only kills you after the fact. Modiga ready to move in towards Square here, and actually might have a chance to take a fight pretty quickly if he wants to continue this push. Normally you're not necessarily going to see that. However, it seems it got a different flavor today. Modiga moves in. Merc still caught from trying to eliminate that drone. Leaves Modiga with an easy kill opportunity to knock out the Jaeger on TSM.
All right, well, Timsy's going to be the lone soldier upstairs, and he's got to make some magic happen, folks. This is the time to stand up. You're the sub. You have nothing on your shoulders. There's nothing to lose, everything to gain. First kill comes through, but he gets melted by Mo. Oh my God, that was actually an insane shot. Bolo has already rotated himself upstairs to try and assist. Bolo, after killing 3 people, can't hit a drone. And right on the tail cuts of Bolo there. Even the best in the world can't hit drones.
I mean, he made it back at least. He didn't
Hey,
die.
exactly. He didn't die, so that's good.
He's got a chance for redemption at some point in the future here.
Those drones, those pesky, pesky drones.
How much of a chance that'll be, though, is yet to be seen. One hatch going to be popped open here by Gotcha in a second. It's going to be the hallway hatch leading downstairs. We leave ourselves with about a minute and a half remaining here in order for EG to start the plant procedure. Still having all 5 players alive, though, gives them quite a bit of freedom on top of this extra minute that they still have onto the clock. So they're going to take their time with this one. No reason to rush things.
Exactly, as you said, there's really nothing on your shoulders at this point in time. Just work your way towards the site, use your utility properly, get a wall open, and try and get this plant. You have top pressure. You got everything in the world to try and get a diffuser down. But Bolo still exists on the map, so you're going to have to worry about that just a little bit, because last time you didn't, and last time he kind of killed your entire team. And that could definitely happen again if you don't respect the man. So, looks like he might be going for a long rotate here. Oh no, he might get caught out. Holding a tight angle outside. Mo finds one. Can Bolo possibly read into this? It's a triple for Mo in the round as well. Goes for the shots, but he didn't see him. Necrox wins it out. It's going to be all left up to Achieve in a 1 versus 5. Oh, he takes down the man with the diffuser. Only 27 seconds remain. Can Achieve stave them off? He doesn't have a nitro cell anymore. He goes for 2. He hears the mag that gets flipped open once again. Somebody rotating in from behind him. No, they aren't. He might get it, but no. Evil Geniuses pushes it to the limit, and we're in the max round inside of overtime.
Dig it just a little bit too on point right now to be able to be stopped in that final fight. But it nearly happens. We nearly see the clutch attempt come out from TSM once again. EG wins it this time, though. Great intel and smart play wins them that round, putting them at the 7-7 map point here at the beginning of this series. They go on to defense for it. They're going to move upstairs as the site they just won before is going to be locked away.
Well, do or die time now in map 1. Somebody's got to take it, and somebody's got to go into map 2 down 1. So either we do have what you say, Blue, and someone's going to win this in 2-1 fashion, or can Evil Geniuses possibly take their map and try and swing things through to the second? It is going to be Evil Geniuses on defense. They're going in Executive CEO. This is actually a site where we saw a successful plant go down the last time we were here in pretty impressive fashion. It kind of just came out of nowhere. They got some pressure over inside of the janitor area, and then immediately had Timsy put down a diffuser behind the desk. So overall, pretty successful, especially when it came down to the 1v1 situation when the last man alive for TSM was Geo on those northern windows. That's a power position. You're going to have an extremely difficult time trying to get him off of there without hopping the window.
Props to that cosplay, by the way. I saw that on the left side of the crowd there. That was awesome. So we'll continue to move into this next round here.
What was the cosplay?
I think it was the pulse skin.
Oh, I was looking at you while I was talking.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Is it the pole skin?
Yeah, with the mohawk.
Oh!
Yeah.
Mohawk pole skin, man.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Hey,
He did the animation too.
there's one of those guys in Japan as well.
Oh, was there? Yeah, he like that. Right there. He slicked it back and everything when he
that's
stood.
beautiful.
He did the whole animation.
Whoever you are, I love you.
Props to you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, back into this ultimate round of the matchup here now. She's going to decide the opening map of it at least. Both teams have been fighting neck and neck this entire map. And it's come down to this. The winner of this one takes it all, at least on this map, and moves on to the second with the series advantage. TSM on the attack once again. We've been seeing great stuff from them on this attack, but also quite a few mistakes. The same thing, however, can basically be said for EG going into this matchup.
Well, Achieve going to get rid of a little bit of utility down there, trying to find the goo mine. Finally does. It's Young that's rocking the Legion this time around. Only one ACOG picked up. It's going to be NVK. Last time we were on this site, we saw him challenging towards those western windows to see if anybody would repel. We've seen Bolo playing that quite often throughout this map so far, and he's going to be doing the exact same thing, but this time from the front of Bank instead. Timsy, put an exothermic charge on. It's going to be the right-hand panel so they can watch it from the window. Now they just need to try and get a plant down here. Still plenty of time on the board as Timsy is well aware of someone trying to rotate through janitors, if they so do.
Timsy trying his best to try to keep an eye on for that push, but again, EG for the most part hasn't been getting super aggressive towards square. It's been on other parts of the map we've seen that aggression ring out from them. TSM in the meanwhile, again, still taking their time with the lead up into the execute itself. It's been good and bad depending on the round, so I don't want to judge that too much right now. Merc on hunting, trying to find the player hiding out in Janitor, and he nearly finds his mark. Just a couple inches off there. The crosshair positioning. Second wall going to be attempted to be popped here by Timsy as well. see if that's going to work out. We'll also bring the Toby eye tracking in here for Merc, get into the mind of the player and see what exactly they're thinking about in these rounds. That yellow orange bubble you're seeing, that's his eyes. That's exactly where he's looking. And you can see from his crosshair that he's nearly got himself with an opportunity lined up. Should be a reinforced wall in between the two of them though, so can't fire into this. That firebolt though, and even the smoke bolts are going to be clutch to give the team the room they need to push into this. But so far, Timsy with a good hold. He's going to be able to find the first pickup. Geo finds the second, and TSM are making their mark. Just that Capitao not able to move in just yet.
Timsy finally gets taken down. That's a diffuser. Gotcha, and the rest of the squad have to try and stave this off. Only 30 seconds remain. TSM needs some work from inside, holding down E2. A quick shot from Achieved. Takes down Young. Gotcha and NBK, the only two that remain. Very minimal time. Merc dons it, picks up that diffuser, starts putting it down, but Bolo and TSM secure Evil Genius's map choice in max overtime.
And so that's going to be a great opening win here for TSM, but we're not done just yet. That's only a 1-0 lead. Still a lot more work to be done here, and it's on just as competitive of a map. This is a crazy pool we have between these two teams. This series is going to stay as much on as it was in this opening map. That's going to do it for us for now, folks. We'll be back for maps number 2 and hopefully 3, but for the time being, let's take it back over to the analysis desk to break things down.
Thank you so much, Blue. We have had 8 maps today throughout the course of the 4 matches, and of those 8 maps, including the one that we just had, 5 have gone into the full distance of